Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. This is Wefwafwa Andrew and I'm the host of this channel. We are on day 3 of our community outreach and we are visiting the third place in Masaka Town Council. We are going to teach this community about diabetes mellitus, about hypertension, and we shall also talk about the diabetic diet. We are also going to give the community one blood pressure machine, and we are going to educate one leader who will be taking the blood pressure and who will be noting such that we can monitor the general health of our community. So he will be giving us either weekly reports or monthly reports. Hope you enjoy this video.
As we head to the community, listen to some music.
Bulwale bwa pressure buli bulwaleesa omundu aba ni pressure khubanga elyangaki lwesinga nikhulikhulya khuli ni pressure nenga pressure nya yaba angaki bayaba asi.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the community. As you can see, we have already arrived in the community, and I was teaching about hypertension. And I started by telling them that hypertension is a condition where someone has an elevated blood pressure. I told them that we all have blood pressure, but blood pressure can either be low or high. And I told them how it comes about. First started by defining blood pressure before I talked about high blood pressure. I told them that blood pressure is the force that is exerted by blood on the walls of the blood vessels as the blood is flowing through the blood vessels. And then I told them blood pressure can either be high or low. I also told them that blood pressure is represented by two values. That is the systolic blood pressure and the diastolic blood pressure. I told them systolic blood pressure is the one that they usually put on top, and the diastolic blood pressure is that value that they usually see down. I told them systolic blood pressure is the pressure exerted on the walls of the blood vessels by the blood when the heart is contracting. And I told them the systolic blood pressure is the blood pressure that is exerted on the walls of the blood vessels by the blood while the heart is relaxing. And now I went ahead and I told them about the normal values. I started by the normal one, which is colored green on our chart, and I told them the normal blood pressure is 120 over 80 millimeters of mercury. I told them it has now ranges. For example, the ones you see that they are colored in yellow and orange, there we have something to do with elevated hypertension stage 1, hypertension stage 2, and then the one that is colored in red is representing hypertensive crisis or emergency.
Akahendesa pressure
I told them that once you have a value that lies under hypertensive crisis or emergency, you need to seek immediate health attention. You need to see a health worker. You need to be initiated on medicine because then you are at the risk of getting complications like renal failure. You have a risk of getting complications like stroke, heart failure, and others. And then I went ahead to explain to them how you should find out or how you should measure your blood pressure. After telling them how the blood pressure should be measured, for example, I told them someone has to be relaxed and it should not only be taken once and then someone concludes. Then I switched to the balanced diet as you heard in the video there. And I told them that we have a lot of good foods in our community, but the only challenge is sometimes we don't know the value of those foods, and we also don't know how to balance them such that we can get the best out of them. So I told them about the foods that we have, and then I told them that we need to use a plate of around 9 inches and we divide it into two equal halves, and then the remaining half we divide it into two equal quarters.
Luwande lwahabiri luno waluhalamo kimirundi kingana kibiri kisalimesa zibiri kimirundi kitaru yaba luwande lumufu then yabawo lutsimande tsino tsihali tsimufuta so alishesi ukhola nga watehele bilyo ba watehele cabbage.
I told them that you fill the half with foods that contain very low or no starch. Foods like cabbage, eggplant, mushrooms, cucumber, and then I also talked about I think onions and others.
Boba ya tsingoho oba oliho ni omena wowo bowakulila hengeni yowo bamayito wowo oba oliho ni nyama niyesi ura muhawande hafiti aho.
So I told them to fill 1/4 with the foods that are rich in proteins, both plant and animals. For example, I told them to fill with the things like lean meat, chicken, eggs, and then I also talked of foods like beans. I talked of mukene, that is a silverfish, and many other foods.
Then sisindu wafunaho nanu sisindu nga ovagedo nawe wamuraho hapati kesindo melehe asa bindio bilo byesi hendume ino bikanibwa bulunaku simanya sibikanibwa ovagedo bulunaku.
I also told them to eat foods that are rich in healthy fats, most especially those plants, not animal fat. The example I gave was avocado. The remaining portion, I told them to fill it with foods that are rich in carbohydrates. For example, the foods that we have here, like potatoes, maize, cassava, and then we also have a lot of foods like matoke that I think is also a fruit, but it has also some carbohydrates and potassium, so we can use it as well. I also told them that when you don't balance these foods, you give your body a lot of work to do. Like you overburden it with work, and with the time it fails, and that's why we end up with conditions like diabetes mellitus, where there is maybe resistance to insulin, or where the body is not producing enough insulin to cope up with the much work that you're giving it. I also told them to include fruits in their diet, and I encouraged at least every single family in Masaka Town Council to have a fruit plantation at their home. I told them that this will not only improve their health, but it will also improve their general well-being, in that people can sell some of those fruits to get some money that can help them to run their daily life. So people embrace the idea, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Muli kabeji tsinzaki tukhalinda wabana byosita nga wafunile tsinzaki zikhole zibe luwande lwesawani lwosi ta nga wafunile.
I did a brief recap, and then I encouraged them not to wait to have all the foods. If they have cabbage, they can use it. If they have eggplants, they can use it. What I encouraged them to do was to use maybe like 1 or 2 servings that I mentioned. So if they don't have all, they can use one. That is what I encouraged them to do. After that, I had to teach people about the blood pressure machine that I was going to leave them with, both how to handle it and how to use. As you can see, I was demonstrating how to fix everything on the blood pressure machine. The lady you're seeing standing, she was the one I was going to leave with the blood pressure machine, and she was to be helped by the man that I was going to take the blood pressure. As you can see, I told them that it should be at least 1 or 2 inches from the elbow joint. And I told them that when they are fixing the cuff of the blood pressure machine, it shouldn't be so tight. It should be in position to allow at least a finger to enter when you've fixed, and that is what I was trying to do. Then from there, I told them that the person you're going to take blood pressure should first be relaxed. That means you should not take blood pressure when maybe someone is stressed, or someone is from doing a physical exercise, or someone is just from moving, maybe has just come and you take immediately. Tell them you need to give someone some rest, maybe like 10 minutes, and then you take the blood pressure. And after taking the first value, I told them that you need to allow someone to rest maybe for something like 5 minutes, and then you retake the blood pressure, most especially when you get high values, or when the figure is high, or when the blood pressure is high, then you may need to recheck it, most especially with these digital blood pressure machines. So as you've heard and seen in the video, the blood pressure of this guy was 128 over 72 millimeters of mercury, and this on our chart lies under the elevated. But it is not very bad. Lifestyle management can reverse all this, and perhaps it was maybe because he has moved and all those things. Because when you look at his age and his physicality, you can see that he has very low risks of having high blood pressure at that age. So that is what we got at the first measurement. And as I said, of course, we need to take something like 10 minutes before we'll do the second time. But because we didn't have time and I needed to demonstrate to these people, so I had to do it again immediately. And when we did a second time, we got the same results. As you can see, all the people were so interested in knowing how to use this machine, and the person who was going to remain with the machine was taught how to record the findings. As I can see, he was writing in the book. This is because we also bought for all of them the books. We believe that those books will help us to do some follow-ups as well. One of our viewers advised us that we need a table wherever we move. So I think in the next videos that I will be uploading in the next visits actually, we shall tell people to prepare some tables that we shall be able to use, such that when we are measuring the blood pressure, someone will be able to rest his or her hand on that table. Also, one of our viewers advised us to turn off the audio part of it, because it will overweaken the battery, or it overconsumes the battery, and that was also noted. So in our next videos, we shall be able to turn off that audio, and I will also go back and tell the people we left with the blood pressure machines. After teaching them how to use a blood pressure machine, I allowed the list that I was going to leave the blood pressure machine with also to demonstrate, such that I can know that she has understood. And then she was now going to take almost all the people who had come for our meeting on that day. And as you can see, I was guiding her, but she was doing it well according to what I saw. Only that the arm was in space, so I advised her to rest the arm on her thigh, since we didn't have the table on that day. As you can see, her blood pressure was 123 out of 69 millimeters of mercury, and according to that, you can see that it is slightly elevated. It is not all that worrying. So we had to retake the blood pressure and find out the value again. But as I told you, we needed to take something like 10 minutes, but because I had to move to another place, on that day I had to move to about 5 places, and now this was a third place, and it was around 3. I saw I was left with 2 places. That's why I had to redo without taking more 10 minutes. Otherwise, I enjoyed that day. People learned a lot. I also learned a lot from the community.
Has historic over the historic, Then what millimeters of mercury, then pulse rate, PR, baranano. English kumwe hukuka mumunda chikanga. Irengi isikwa kuba akara imkaka kukora kuchukunya bisi. Alenga kuli mukana asma kumwe hukupandwa.
This blood pressure machine also has a provision for knowing the pulse rate. So I was also telling them about the pulse rate, though I didn't go into much details because my attention was focused on the blood pressure because that is all they needed to know most.
So guys, we've come to the end of our video here. Actually, this is the third cell that we visited today, and we've been able to teach people about hypertension. We taught them also about the diet, and we are going to donate this blood pressure machine to this community. So Fiona Miyama is the leader, so we are giving her this CBP machine, and she will be measuring people's blood pressure at a free cost. We've also been able to get her a chart that she will use to teach people about the diet, and we also have a blood pressure stages chart. So she will use this chart as a guide such that she will be able to interpret all the results that she will get using this chart. Our next item on the agenda is that we are going to plant a seedling with one of the people here. But most of the seedlings, we've taught people how they should care for them and how they should plant. So they have promised us that they will go and plant these seedlings. So what we are going to do, we are just going to plant one. So go with us. Pali bakuteno. Sisa alasina chesi kutahuliala. As you can see, first put in the manure, then aliokita nyawayo hokana lina yota wazi pa nami ninando hasi pia kama na Islanda wale alena asibote tabale be mwanya nabi ne kuliko kutandika bawele akweli ibintu kana bulungi sagenda kunasisa manye bwene yotanga kweyongera kukola kuri nyakwamaliza kwafunini sitima chefe yeta kukendesa balwale bintu byebyebyo enga kuna kyambola ulisindu kusikola embola so tenaba tinye nabo era abange